Welcome back, everyone. It is officially Halloween weekend, and I have got a journey in store for you. This time out, we are running the amazing Wickenburg Mountains Trail. The terrain on the trail is exciting, and the scenery is diverse. This trail that runs through the beautiful Wickenburg Mountains is definitely one that you're going to want to hurry and get to yourself. Along with gazing at the beautiful scenery, I'll also be exploring some nooks and crannies of this trail. Not only that, but we will be stopping at the final resting place of pioneer Issac Bradshaw to pay our respects. Knowing that this is a dynamic and long journey, there's going to be plenty to see along the way. This is an adventure-filled and an exciting ride. We'll even be able to say hello to some fellow adventure seekers along our travels. So sit back, strap in, and enjoy the ride. Welcome back to Buckin Life. This is my first time out here in the Wickenburg Mountains, so I'm excited to get there and see what the day has in store for me. We're beginning our long trek via Constellation Road in center Wickenburg. Now the start of the actual trail isn't for a few miles in, so you have to run part of a different section of the trail called Boulders to Box Canyon to get there. Just like 90% of any other trail system, this one starts off fairly tame and well maintained. Quite simply just another easy access road to get to where the fun begins. It doesn't take very long at all before you start seeing the effects of weathering on the trail and erosion. This section is pretty much the beginning of the Wickenburg Mountains Trail. You'll know it when you see it. You have to make a left at an old water tank. Can't miss it. As you can see, it's quickly becoming washed out and off camber. But still so far, it's nothing any major 4x4 can't handle with ease. So coming through that gate, I've basically just begun the Wickenburg Mountains Trail. Don't forget to close gates behind you guys. It's a very big deal. People that leave gates open, they let cattle out, and that's how we lose trails. So just simple reminder, close gates behind you at all times. Beautiful trail so far. Very rocky, which is the way I like it. It makes it a little bit more difficult. Steep upgrades, steep downgrades so far, and boy, the views. Not disappointing in the least. Not in the least. You don't want to mess up here. It's a pretty long way down and it's extremely steep. But when I say the views are spectacular, I always mean it. Always. Now I think I'm a couple miles from the Bradshaw grave site. So we'll get there soon and we'll check that out.
That right there is called Table Mountain. Some pretty nice rock formations out here. A lot of boulders.
As you've seen and heard a few times, the erosion is enough to make me scrape my skid plates a couple times. but you're gonna see it again and you're gonna hear it again. With terrain like this, you always just want to take it a little bit slow. Even if you have a modified vehicle, you can still cause damage if you make the wrong move. I'm not exactly sure where on this trail it happened, but when I got home I noticed a nice little chunk taken out of my sidewall. Definitely gonna have to replace that. I'm just glad it didn't puncture it on the trail. So I just want to show you that part I just came down. That was interesting. I get nervous. At one point I started tipping a little bit. Did some freewheeling. But it's not this part right here. But you can see how pretty steep this is. It was that part right up there where it kind of drops off. It was fun though. This is why I'm out here. If there's not some sense of risk, how is it fun? Well, so far so good. A little slow going right now. Some sketchy areas. There's some washouts that you got to be careful of. But so far, nothing that's going to make me turn around. I should be coming up on the Bradshaw gravesite soon, but it's really slow going. The trail's narrow, it's rocky, it's off camber, so you really just got to take it slow. But what an epic trail so far. I'm really loving it. I just saw a couple side-by-sides coming, so I pulled over to let them by. I don't know where they are, though. I saw them right around the bend. Maybe they took a different trail. Who knows? This trail's amazing. This one I definitely highly recommend. It's nice and long, right degree of difficulty, if that's your thing. And of course, the scenery.
Now you can see my Bronco's right there. So the trail's snaking down around. You can see where I'm going to be. And it goes all the way out towards that direction. Now I do see some mining roads going up the side of the hill, but I'm not going to take those. I do eventually want to get back home at some point. Can't go wrong with the scenery though, right? Well, there they go. First people I've seen out here all day. This has quickly become, if not my favorite trail, my second favorite trail. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But this trail is freaking epic. Such diverse terrain, diverse scenery. It's got everything out here. About the only wildlife I've seen so far are birds and a crap load of grasshoppers. Grasshoppers are everywhere. He's enjoying the ride too. Spotted more wildlife. Little prairie dogs running around everywhere. Cute little things. Onyx rates this trail a 6. I would say that's extremely accurate. Maybe a hard 6. But it's not an easy trail, I can tell you that much right now. Now, it's also not too hard. To me, it's just perfect. Came across this area, some sort of a corral for cattle or horses or something. I'm not sure if it's still in use, but I mean, that tub looks fairly new. It doesn't look old, that's for sure. I think it was to replace this, the old concrete one. But there's no water in there. So I don't know if this place is still used or not, but I just thought it was interesting. I'm not exactly sure what this thing is. So if any of you viewing this video can tell me in the comments, I'd appreciate it. Let's get a crank on it. Obviously it doesn't look like it works anymore, but not really sure what that is. Time to move on. So we made it to the Issac Bradshaw grave site. How's it going there, Isaac? Pretty good memorial. How's it going there, bud? Issac Bradshaw. Real easy to spot. As you're coming down the trail, you cannot miss it. Absolutely at all.
Issac Bradshaw, along with his brother William, migrated to Arizona from California. In 1863, William was the first to lead a group of men into the Bradshaws, formerly known as the Silver Mountain Range, in search of silver and gold. They traveled as a group for protection up Black Canyon Creek above Black Canyon City. They did find the fabled gold and left unseen by Native Americans. William, Isac's brother, who was a heavy drinker, became sick and committed suicide after his return. He is buried in an unmarked grave near La Paz, Arizona. Isaac ventured into the Bradshaws at age 66 in search of gold locations his brother had told him about. He and his party also found silver and gold. He died and is buried here and this remote grave site. In 1864, the Walker Party entered the Bradshaws and followed Lynx Creek deeper into the higher elevations near current Lynx Lake. Gold and silver were found. News of these two parties' gold finds spread, and a gold rush began in the Bradshaws. It was dangerous travel as the Native Americans defended their homeland, attacking often. After the long Bradshaw Indian War ended in 1873, white men flooded into the Bradshaws and towns sprung up. Cattlemen began ranching the area to provide food. The Old West culture of cowboys, miners, gamblers, gunfighters, lawmen, and robbers began in the Bradshaws. Why Issac is buried out here in the Wickenburg Mountains instead of the Bradshaws is a mystery to me.
So when I said this is a pretty long trail, I meant it. I started my route right here. So here I am at the Issac Bradshaw grave site. Not the yellow waypoint, but the other one right next to it. So from the beginning point, I would say I'm about almost halfway done. But from the start of the actual trail, which is right there, I would say I'm about a third of the way done. So we got a little ways to go. Alright, so taking a little break. I wanted to enjoy the scenery of this wash I'm walking into. Just amazing out here. I know I say that a lot. I'm thankful I get to come out here and see it, because not everybody can. Earlier I ran into those side-by-side guys, and then I ran into a group of about 4 vehicles. It's an old Ford pickup, a side-by-side, a Jeep, a Toyota 4Runner. So they look like they're having a great time too. I cannot say enough about how good this trail is. I don't know why I didn't come out here before. I actually tried at one point, the day I was doing Box Canyon in Wickenburg. I was gonna add on to that and do this, but it was getting late in the day, and we had been out in Box Canyon for quite some time, so we just decided not to do it. But man, I'm glad I came out here today. I'm gonna give this an 8 on my Buckin meter in terms of how awesome it is. My brother had a field day looking for gold out here. That's actually gonna be something that I incorporate into Buckin life as well. It's gonna be a series called Wheeling for Gold. And every time I take my brother out, we're gonna be doing some wheeling, and we're gonna be looking for some gold. Now, whether or not we find anything, that has yet to be determined. But we're sure gonna try. Loving it out here. So it looks like on Onyx that I'm going to be running primarily wash for the rest of the way, which should be cool because you're always going to get good scenery in a wash. Cliff walls, everything, you know. But I'm more than halfway done with the trail, and of course this is going to lead me all the way back out to Lake Pleasant, nearby where I live. So I started in Wickenburg, and I'm working my way back to Lake Pleasant. I'm guessing it'll probably take me another couple hours, depending on how slow the ride is. It's 1 o'clock now, so I should be done by 3, hopefully home by 4. Get some dinner, start editing. Love this trail. I'm gonna come back out here again, without question. I want to bring some other Bronco groups out here, because this trail is not to be passed up. I can't say enough about how great this trail is. There are a few pucker spots, but if you go slow and pick the right line, you'll be more than fine. I mean, I'm in a stock Bronco. I mean, yeah, I have 35-inch tires, and I got, you know, the factory lift. It's only 1.5 inches though, Sasquatch package. But I've gotten through it just perfectly fine. I will say, I had one tippy point. I said, "Oh shit!" For a second, a fraction of a second, I thought I might be going over. But I didn't. I just tapped on the fuel a little bit, and I leveled myself back out. So that's another thing. You got to know what to do in risky situations like that. Because if you jam on the brakes, see, because I was tipping forward. If I jammed on the brakes, that would have gave me more momentum to go forward and then possibly tip over on my side. I wasn't having that. So I just hit the gas a little bit, came out of it, and leveled myself back out. But yeah, it made me sweat for a second. What a great trail. Buckin' awesome.
I encountered this cool group of adventurers towards the end of the trail. I hung around for about 10 minutes chatting with them. They were out playing in the washes and having a good old time, just like I was. I probably would have stayed and had a couple beers with them had I brought any. Pretty much the rest of the way is washed just like this, as you see here. Now you can have a good old time out in these washes. Lots of obstacles to play on and a little bit of water at the same time. My brand of fun out here in washes like this is picking up speed. A good amount of speed.
thoroughly enjoyed this trail today. It's epic Buckin adventure, I'd say that much. If the Wickenburg Mountains Trail isn't on your list, put it on. You won't regret it. I will be doing this trail again. That's how much I enjoyed it. You come out here, you'll enjoy it too. I promise. Well, time to air up this bad boy. That was an end to an epic day. It was a bucking awesome adventure, if you ask me. Best part of the trail, in my opinion, was when you went through the gate at the start of the trail. It was steep and rocky, off camber, a little nerve-wracking. That was where I did the tippity tip, and that gets your blood going, your adrenaline. It was a lot of fun, but the whole trail, just amazing. From the scenery to the terrain, it's at the top of my list, guys. Highly recommend you do it. It's a must-do, in my opinion, especially if you live in the Phoenix area. Now you can run it you can start at Lake Pleasant and run it all the way to Wickenburg. I chose to go to Wickenburg and run it all the way to Lake Pleasant. Apparently the reverse way is starting at Lake Pleasant. I don't know if it'd be any harder or easier going the reverse way. It's probably great either way, to be quite honest with you. An 8 on my Buckin meter. An 8. Solid 8. There's nothing bad I can say about it, really. It's always a little sad when you end an adventure. It's also very gratifying. But as they say, the adventure begins where the pavement ends, right? Well, the pavement started, so I guess my adventure ending today. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to my content. I know I make good content, so you gotta like it. So please, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. And if you choose, the bell so you get notified when I upload new content. That way, you don't miss a thing. Man, you guys are awesome. Thanks again for joining me and coming along for this ride with me. Tune in next time for the next episode of Buckin Life, where I live my life one bucking adventure at a time. Till next time.